yet? It's a good bit of civilians. They are. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Vernon L. Jones, Jr., Command Sergeant Major Edgar Rodriguez, and the soldiers of the 35th Combat Sustainment Support Battalion, good afternoon and welcome to today's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Equal Opportunity Observance. We at the 35th would also like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests, the Commander and Command Sergeant Major of U.S. Army Japan, Major General Viet Luong, and Command Sergeant Major Scott Beeson. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Rios and the singing of the national anthems of Japan and the United States of America by Sergeant Joanna Bernardo.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that on this day we are taking the opportunity to honor our Asian American and Pacific Islander brothers and sisters. We thank you for the rich heritage that these great people and nations have contributed to the betterment of our world. We recognize that Asian American and Pacific Islander encompasses many ethnic groups with diverse backgrounds, histories, languages, and cultures. Today, as we attempt to celebrate the diversity of their cultures, linguistics, and ethnicities, we also want to recognize their common historical experiences in American history. The history of North America is shaped by the stories of immigrants from Asia and the Pacific and native people of the Pacific Islands. We thank you for their stories and ask that you continue to include their stories in the great American tale in greater number and expand their influence exponentially in the generations to come. Help us all as Americans to forever remember our history as the great melting pot of the world and the impact diversity adds to our existence. We ask this in the name above all names, Kia Kaha, forever strong.
Kimi ga yo wa chiyo ni ya chiyo ni sazare ichi no iwa Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. Please be seated. In Japan, the crane is a symbol of good health and fortune. It is said that if 1,000 paper cranes are folded, a good wish may be granted. Throughout the auditorium, we have placed more than 200 paper cranes and folding instructions so that you can help us share in historic tradition as the soldiers of 35th CSSB wish for peace and prosperity for all. The samurai soldiers ask that you all fold a crane of your own and encourage those to your left and right to do so as well as you all go home today to make this wish come true. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 35th Combat Sustainment Support Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Vernon L. Jones, Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I want to once again thank you for attending today's observance. Before we go any further into the program, I would like to take just a few moments to share a few things with you. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, or AAPIs, have served the United States military in nearly every armed conflict since the founding of our nation. Today we will highlight but a small fraction of the history, patriotism, and impact of the AAPI community to our nation. During the War of 1812, Filipinos joined the U.S. Army in manning defensive batteries against the British. During the Civil War, our nation was divided over the issue of slavery as an integral part of the American fabric. AAPIs fought on both sides of the Civil War, with Chinese Americans serving in both the Union and the Confederacy. In the face of discrimination under the Chinese Exclusion Act, Chinese Americans served their nation in the Mexican Expedition of 1916. As the world plunged into World War I, many Asian Americans joined the U.S. Army, including Bhagat Singh Thind, an Indian American of Sikh faith. He was loyal and very patriotic, yet he was denied citizenship by the U.S. Supreme Court. On December 7, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. As a result, President Roosevelt authorized the detainment of 120,000 Japanese Americans to incarceration camps. To fight against public distrust, 30,000 Nisei, or second-generation Japanese Americans, enlisted during World War II. The 100th Infantry Battalion, and later the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, remains the most decorated unit in U.S. military history. As a colony, the Philippines allied with America. The United States Armed Forces of the Far East enlisted nearly 250,000 Filipinos, a decisive move that helped win the Pacific Theater. For their valor, Filipinos were promised citizenship and military benefits, yet they couldn't claim them after the passing of the Rescission Act. With the repeal of the Chinese Exclusion Act, 13,000 Chinese Americans enlisted to fight for their nation. The Women's Army Corps also recruited Chinese and Japanese Americans to support military intelligence efforts. Hazel Yang Lee broke gender and ethnic barriers as one of the first Chinese Americans to serve as a pilot in the Women's Air Force Service. Ultimately, the outstanding performance of segregated minority units like the Tuskegee Airmen, the Native American Code Talkers, and the famed Nisei Warriors led the Department of Defense to review its policies on minorities serving in the military. The reviews led to the gradual integration of the U.S. military. After World War II, a large number of AAPI recruits and combat veterans continued to serve with fervor. U.S. military bases in the Philippines recruited Filipinos, and at one point, there were more Filipinos in the U.S. Navy than in the Philippine Navy. In the Korean War, Major Kurt Chewin Lee and Colonel Young Ok Kim broke barriers of segregation by respectfully becoming the first Marine officer of Chinese descent and the first Korean American to lead a combat battalion. In the 1950s and 60s, AAPIs assumed greater roles of acceptance in American society and culture. Medal of Honor recipient and World War II hero Daniel K. Inouye was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives and later became a U.S. Senator. As the Vietnam War intensified, AAPI soldiers answered the call of duty, and some made the ultimate sacrifice. Like many Americans, AAPI soldiers, veterans, and civilians felt conflicted about this controversial and long-standing war. By the 1970s, a wave of Asian immigrants resulted in more enlistments in the U.S. Armed Services. With the passing of the United States Refugee Act, Vietnamese refugees were able to immigrate to the United States and enlist in the U.S. Armed Forces. A powerful reminder that immigrants help to build our nation through service. At this time, please help me welcome the Camp Zama American Middle High School Drama Club as they come to the stage to perform a tribute to Asian Pacific heritage.
Kalei Hello and welcome. My name is Caitlin Mackby. I'm from Mr. Baltimore's B1 drama class. Today we have put together a kabuki-inspired performance. We really hope you enjoy. Gather round and listen, for I will tell you a tale of a merchant, his beautiful daughter, two extraordinary cats, and the evil rat spirit, Tesso. This is the story of the cat guardian. The kind rice merchant, Bari-san, was well loved throughout the countryside. The merchant had only one daughter, who was as beautiful as a sakura blossom. Bari-san loved his daughter and looked after her as if she was his second eye. The daughter was quite lonely. One day, the beautiful and mischievous cat appeared to her in the garden. The daughter took the cat home and named her Bakeniko. The merchant was very happy that his daughter had found a companion. Bakeniko was most attached to the merchant's daughter. They were almost never apart. The father soon came to worry that the cat might be evil. He decided to kill the animal to be safe. After he had decided this, however, he had a dream in which the cat appeared to him in a sorrowful countenance. Dear master, I must appear to you in a dream. I was sent to protect your daughter from the evil rat spirit Tesso. I am far too weak to attack the rat head-on. Please send for your sister's cat Bucci, who is brave and strong. The next morning, when the merchant awoke, sent for Bucci. That evening, while everyone was asleep, the rat slipped into the bedroom of the slumbering daughter. This was no ordinary rat. Bucci revealed their true nature. Bakeniko did the same. Tesso the rat was undaunted and shifted into a spirit of dread and misery. All three animals tore at each other so greatly that everyone awoke. The merchant rushed to his daughter as the cats and rat battled. Tesso the rat was defeated. His evil spirit banished forever. The cats were mortally wounded. They died in the arms of the merchant and his daughter. In their honor, they were given a burial with full honors, and their statues were placed in the shrine to commemorate their bravery and faithfulness.
The subli is a traditional Filipino dance that is extremely popular in the Philippine provinces such as the Batangas and Luzon. This dance is often performed during the month of May to honor the Holy Cross of Alitagtag. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Camp Zama subli dancers. Please let me welcome back to the stage Colonel Vernon Jones. Thank you.
I have the distinct honor, privilege, and pleasure of introducing to you not one, but two guest speakers for this observance. Some of you may think it's a bit too much, to have two speakers. But for me to stand here and tell you that their personal stories are powerful and embody the warrior spirit and the spirit of this observance will be a gross understatement. To not have them share their experiences on such an occasion, I might even consider it to be akin to a travesty. Most of you may know Lieutenant Colonel Lon DeLotte, our first guest speaker this afternoon as the UCJ G6 director. You might have even seen him walking through the halls of UCJ headquarters or riding his bike to and from PT. Or you may have already taken a look in your bio and seen his bio in your program. But what many of you may not know is that as a young man in his early teens, Lieutenant Colonel DeLotte and his family left everything behind in Vietnam in a search for freedom and opportunities. Today, he will share his story with you. Our primary guest speaker, Major General Luong, truly needs no detailed introduction, as we all know him as our commanding general, commander of United States Army Japan. You can also read more about his military career through his bio, which is located in your program. But what you may not know is that there was once a little boy who escaped from Saigon with his family and spent weeks in refugee camps before settling in the US. A little boy who became a young man, joined ROTC, and eventually became the commander of Alpha Company, 2nd 325 Airborne Infantry Regiment, commanding in the same battalion and during the same time period where bright-eyed Private First Class Jones also served. A young man who would one day become the first Vietnamese American general in the United States Army. Today, he will share his story. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please help me to welcome our first speaker, Lieutenant Colonel DeLotte, to the stage.
Wow, that was great. General Sergeant Major Beeson, Colonel Grabsky, Colonel Haig, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here representing the Asian American community and to be able to share my story with you. But I'm a little nervous, so I went around the community to interview some of the folks out here and ask them about what I should be talking about. And so today, I would like to share you their stories. So please roll the video, please.
My name is Saya Kane. I'm Private First Class in the United States Army. I am PFC Abby Albo.
I'm Sub First Class, 3-time training.
Nobi Ona, Sergeant, United States Army.
Sergeant Joanna Bernardo.
I'm Philip Tania. I'm a technical sergeant in the United States Air Force.
Lieutenant Colonel Dawi Tony, United States Army Nurse Corps.
I'm a 25 November Nodal Network System Operator. My mission is to provide communication support to the commander.
My NOS is 68 Sierra, Preventive Medicine Specialist. My mission is to ensure and protect the health of our forces from disease-bound pathogens.
I'm 35 Lima, counterintelligence special agent. I conduct counterintelligence investigation to identify, neutralize, exploit potential cyber threat against the United States Army.
Physical therapy technician. My mission is to help injured soldiers get back into their regular state.
I am a 68 Tango Animal Care Specialist. Our number one mission is to take care of the military working dogs and making sure that they are healthy and fit for duty.
3D1X3, RF transmission systems. My mission is to support satellite communications in the Indo-PACOM area, supporting all U.S. forces.
I am serving as the family nurse practitioner. I'm also dual-hatted as the sexual assault medical forensic examiner. We have a mission to optimize readiness by providing patient-centered quality care while also supporting Japan ground self-defense support services.
I am Hmong American. I was born in Sacramento, California.
I was born and raised in Vietnam. I moved to the United States
am Filipino American. I was born in Manila, Philippines. Came to the United States when I was 11 years old.
I'm Filipino American. I was born in Maryland. My dad was United States Navy, so they were stationed there when I was born. I actually grew up in the Philippines my whole life, and then after graduating college, went back to the United States and served.
I was born in Taiwan at age about 14. My family immigrated to Hawaii. Didn't speak a word of English when I was 14. Reached to Hawaii and started picking up English as a second language.
Samoan and Korean. I was born in Junction City, Kansas.
Filipino American. I was born and raised in La Loma, Quezon City, in Manila, Philippines. I was 15 years old when we immigrated to the United States.
When I first came to California, it was really rough because I didn't know any English, so I had to start from the bottom.
Challenges I faced when I first arrived in the United States was a language barrier and culture.
Learning English, first of all, was a completely different language. Was the biggest task that I had.
So I attended a community college, got my AA in civil engineer, chemistry, and math. After that, I went to California State University of Los Angeles and earned my Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. I wanted to join the Army because I wanted to serve the country as well as prepare myself for my future goals.
I really wanted to follow my father's footsteps, make him proud, my parents were proud, especially like I've seen how great like his career is, how inspiring he was, and how he motivates everyone. So I just wanted to be like him.
After high school, I joined the United States Army Reserve as a hotel cargo specialist.
When September 11 happened, all of my friends just decided to join the military, join the Army, join the Navy, join the Air Force. And because they felt it in their heart, I felt it too. And that's what brought me in.
Immediately after graduating from dental school, I felt that I need to learn a whole lot more, not just the clinical dentistry, but also I'd like to be participating in a much bigger organization and be a part of a team that I can contribute more for the United States, for the country.
So after the sports didn't work out for me, I pursued a new challenge, and that was to join the Air Force and see where I can go through that. It was the overall mission of the Air Force. I felt like my contributions to supporting communications, it supported a bigger picture.
Being grateful to the Army, I talked with the recruiter who was visiting the school, and I ended up enlisting.
I am an American soldier.
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 I am an American airman.
I am an American soldier.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time from your busy schedule, participating and involving in this important event that recognizes Asian American and Pacific Islander. As a member of this group, I'm honored standing here in front of you as an American. To be exact, I'm a proud American soldier serving and defending the land of the rising sun. I want to serve the country that gave me so much. So today, I would like to share with you my journey going from a stateless boy to an officer who lives the American dream. I was born in the middle of the Vietnam War to a Vietnamese warrant officer father who had served as an interpreter for the military advisory group, and to an all-girl school teacher mother. I was a citizen of the Republic of Vietnam until the age of 8. However, things changed after April 30th, 1975. Living under the communist Vietnam, my family and I endured more wars with Cambodia and China, following with major political and economic turmoil. Shortly after my 14th birthday, I became a stateless boy, along with my mother and siblings. On the surface of the South China Sea, looking for freedom as boat people. At that moment, my family and I unknowingly joined a new growing demographic called boat people. We were among millions of Vietnamese who climbed onto the wooden boat that fled Vietnam. Not knowing the actual outcome or destination, we set off on an unseaworthy wooden boat, hoping to land on a peaceful shore somewhere in the Pacific. From a relative still water in the river, we pushed out to sea. It was rough going, day and night. The waves lifted our boat and crashed down again and again. Our engine sputtered, and our boat shuddered. At each wave, it survived. Day after day, the sea seemed determined to end our journey. Yet we plowed forward. Our path certain, our destination unknown. After enduring 5 days of pounding waves, our small boat engine protested one last time and stopped. We were without power, adrift on the South China Sea. Soon, the food and water supply ran low. In small groups, people began quietly and seriously discussing the implication of cannibalism for the ultimate survival. The remaining water would ration down to one softening cup a day. Even with the severe rationing, the water supply ran low and ran out in 2 days. Dehydration and severe starvation caused massive hallucination among the boat people. For the next 7 days, the boat carrying 138 lives remained adrift on the South China Sea. Our hope for survival dwindled. There was no wind, no waves, no birds, no land anywhere around our boat. It was a dread of painful, slow death that everyone wanted to avoid. Facing critical juncture, some openly discussed suicide as the alternate to dying of starvation. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the Iran hostage crisis came to an end. And because of that, there was a drastic change to our survival. Early March 20th, 1981, we were awakened by a deafening noise. 2 low-flying jets roused our boat, woke us up. Suddenly, 3 shots rang out from our boat. A defecting soldier fired 3 rounds into the sky with his AK-47, attempting to signal the aircraft to return with his SOS message. "Those are Americans, we're saved." A pronouncement sparked wild excitement. Hidden energy from being near death suddenly emerged, trigger for the impulse to survive. But those jets disappear over the horizon and never return. The anxiety quickly set in as everyone waited for those jets to return. I forgot about hunger. I forgot about thirst. I was so excited about the possibility of being rescued. On that very hot day, dry, on the surface of the calm sea, I vigorously scanned the horizon for any signs of plane. The sun began to lower toward the horizon. The adrenaline rush was consumed. Our hopes for rescue faded, and our morale diminished. Most of us stared blankly toward the horizon, disbelief and disappointment. One by one, we sank lower into the deep pit of hopelessness. But suddenly, a voice cried out, "Tôi thấy tàu kìa, tôi thấy tàu kìa." I can see the ships, and I'll show you the ship in a second. And I can see the ships. It was on the opposite side where I sat. I could not see what was causing the commotion. Everyone craned their neck trying to spot the ships. Noise inside the boat began to increase with excitement. And from the porthole, I can see for a brief second the USS Ranger, the aircraft carrier, came to our rescue. That evening, USS Ranger Navy Captain Dan A. Peterson, commanding officer, ordered his crew to change course, and they were able to rescue 138 of us from an unseaworthy wooden boat. Captain Peterson jokingly asked me years later, "Do you know how hard it was to turn that aircraft carrier around to pick you up?" At that point, I was no longer a boat person. I became a refugee. And with the granted status by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, my family and I, along with other refugees, were taken to the Philippines, where we were placed inside the Vietnamese refugee camp in Puerto Princesa, Palawan, Philippines. We arrived at a dusty camp comprised of bamboo huts housing more than 5,000 refugees. There, we learned English from our British volunteer. My teacher, Miriam Knox, who gave us great insights on lives and opportunities that I will be able to enjoy in the free world. And it was there that I learned about selfless service that the volunteer had provided us. After 6 months at the refugee camp, we endured many hardships, but we finally received the call to immigrate to the United States. As a legal immigrant in America, I learned to use every tool I possessed and applied them to every lesson I've learned in order to strive in the land of opportunity. However, I quickly realized that I was not welcome in Southern California. I encountered prejudice, discrimination while trying to learn how to break away from violent ghettos culture, where I first settled. I was living among the poorest people in the lowest rent district in Southern California. For years, I questioned the choices my mother had made and the vision we had for America. It wasn't the existence that I had dreamed of finding when we risked our life on the open sea. However, my mom, working 3 jobs, was able to afford us to move to another part of Orange County where better opportunities began to surface for me. And it was at Tustin High School that I learned about teamwork and leadership. Instead of using my foot speed to avoid gang member beatings, I was able to run and earn a varsity letter. Look at those socks. I was trained and mentored by Coach Tom Coffey, a track coach who taught me hard work is a key element to achieving success. Meanwhile, my father continued to face persecution under the hands of Vietnamese officials. He had been jailed for many attempts to escape from Vietnam. My father said, "I cannot sit here in Vietnam and wait for my family to sponsor me." They took extreme risk by escaping from Vietnam on the high sea. I would do the same. He finally released from jail and made his successful escape. He landed his boat in Malaysia, where he served as a refugee camp leader for 6 months. He immigrated to the United States 2 days before my high school graduation. Upon graduation from high school, I enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve. Not Boy Scout, but yeah. As a weekend warrior, I serve in the Army Reserve. I still have to hold down a low-paying job to pay the bills. At night, I enrolled into a local community college with a determination to achieve all the promises of the American dream. I did not realize that I cannot enroll in English 101 right off the bat. I had to take English 98, vocabulary 99, composition, English 100, freshman composition before I qualified to take the entry-level English class. That portion alone took me 2 years to achieve. After being a legal immigrant for 10 years, I applied to be a naturalized citizen of the United States. In 1991, I took the oath of citizenship of the United States and became a naturalized U.S. citizen and changed my name to Dalat, named after my birthplace. I wanted to be an American, but I don't want to forget my heritage and my roots. Shortly after, I set my goal to achieve the American dream. I focused my effort in getting a commission as an Army officer. My pace for success was much slower than most of my peers, since I had to balance the life of a full-time job and a struggling immigrant family and school. Eventually, I graduated from Cal State Fullerton and earned a commission in the Army ROTC program as a second lieutenant in the United States Army Signal Corps. Prior to that significant day, I set out to find a skipper who had rescued my family from the South China Sea. I want to personally thank him for giving me the opportunity to live and to excel in America. And with the help of the Navy, I was united with the founder of the U.S. Naval Top Gun School and author of Top Gun, An American Story. He celebrated my success, continues to be a part of my personal and professional life. My first assignment as an officer was in Korea. It was there that I met and married my wife, and together we have 3 beautiful and talented children. I named my firstborn Dan, after Dan Peterson, the skipper who had saved my life. And since that commissioning day, the United States had entrusted me with great responsibility in leading fine American soldiers throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's a great honor and privilege for me to have the opportunity to serve this great nation. The United States adopted me and gave me the same equal opportunity that are available to every American. America is definitely a country with a core value worth risking one's life to protect. I gladly stand and fight to ensure the future generation will have the same freedom and opportunities we enjoy today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Major General Viet Luong. This time, Lieutenant Colonel Jones and Command Sergeant Major Rodriguez are presenting Major General Luong and Lieutenant Colonel Dalat with tokens of appreciation for sharing their personal and touching stories with us today. General Luong's gift reads, "In recognition for sharing your experiences and insights during the 2019 Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Observance, Samurai Battalion and the Camp Zama community thank you for your continued guidance and dedication, sir." Sir, Colonel Dalat, you are receiving a token of our appreciation, a plaque reading in recognition of your experiences. Sorry, those are very touching stories from both of you. In recognition for sharing your experiences and insights during this 2019 Asian American and Pacific Islander Observance, Zama Battalion, the Camazon community, thank you very much for your continued guidance and dedication as well. Thank you. As an additional token of gratitude, we would like to invite the participants and performers of today's observance. If you could please join Major General Luong, Lieutenant Colonel Jones, and Command Sergeant Major Rodriguez on stage. Oh, the rest of you sit, please. Thank you. From Mr. Baltimore's class, for the A4 drama students, for Kalei, the Hulu dance, we have Mr. Ethan Foreman. Please come forward. There you are. We'll get this group. Yeah.
Oh, you want to do this?
Yeah. Miss Sophia Gandioko.
Sophia, thank you.
Mr. Aiden George.
Thanks. You did a great job.
I believe Mr. Connor Riley. Nope. Hold. I think he had to depart. From his B1 drama students, the Cat Guardians, the Kabuki-inspired modern dance. First, we have Miss Stella Arana. Mr. Dean Bari. Miss Mariah Huey. Miss November Jones. Miss Caitlin McAbee. And Miss Angel Rojas. This time, if I could have the entire Sibley Folk Dance Group please come to the stage. Joining us on stage is Dr. Mary Chris Ganionoko, Lieutenant Colonel Dolores Dolly Tooney, Miss Gemma Takeda, and Miss Beth Adams. As you were entering the theater today, you may have noticed the dance group, Samoan dance group outside the theater. This is the Moe Moea Polynesian dance group. Will the recipients please come to the stage? Or the participants please come to the stage? This is actually just a group of 3 families performing this fabulous dance group for us. We have the Williams family, Cameron, Chance, Chaden, Chloe, and Courtney. Family photos. We have Miss Marielle Goodson as well. Oh, she didn't show. Sorry. And Miss Kirsten Amua and Kekua Amua. Another big round of applause for all of our participants, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to say one last thing. Many years ago, I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with an individual by the name of a United States Air Force colonel by the name of Charles W. Dryden. Colonel Dryden was one of the Tuskegee Airmen. And one of the things he told me when I sat down and talked to him was that you have a story, you need to write it down. Now, I'll tell you, at the moment when I sat down and talked to him, I'm thinking to myself, this man is a part of history. He's done things that people only dream of. And yet he's telling me that I have a story and I need to write it down. I will tell you I'm about 15 years too late on my book that I'm supposed to be writing. But the point of it is, and what I learned from that is, everyone has a story. You have a story, I have a story. And as I want everybody to remember this, as we stand united in our mission, and we get together and we talk and we encourage each other, understand that everybody has a mission, but we need to be deliberate in understanding, not understanding the mission, but understanding the story that everybody has. Because you don't know that your story or somebody else's story might inspire you or someone else to greatness. Thank you.
From all of us at 35th CSSB, to Mr. Baltimore, the Drama Club, the students and the other performers, and all those who had a hand in the observance, thank you again for your hard work and dedication in helping us celebrate the Asian American Pacific Heritage Observance with today's outstanding performances. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Army Song. March along, sing our song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's observance. Please join us for the cutting of the cake with Command Sergeant Major Beeson, Lieutenant Colonel Delade, Lieutenant Colonel Jones, and Major General Viet Luong. Thank you again for your attendance.